Carmine Gothard enjoys working with preschoolers and wearing mismatching socks. She spends her free time listening to music and getting glitter on everything she touches. Her poem is titled "The Colors of Disorder."
Imagine soaring through clouds of white. You are limitless, invincible, infinite. The world sits at your fingertips, wrapped in pale, lacy ribbons, just waiting for you to conquer it. No risk is too big and no adventure too grand when you're high on white. But the silvery feelings last only for so long before you're tumbling through the shadowy blue depths of the stormy sea, drowning in thoughts, silence, fears and tears. You're powerless to stop it. All you can do is try to keep your head above the darkness of the water. White and blue, mania and depression, simple colors and feelings I have since learned to associate with my bipolar playground. I thought everyone's lives consisted of those two colors, white and dark blue, until I found myself waiting in a white hospital bed under fluorescent lights, listening to the sounds of white sneakers and shaky breaths, choking on the sickening anesthetic smell of the small white room while my oh-so-familiar disordered life fell apart. The police officer whose words brought me there had blue eyes full of sympathy when he came to my doorstep and told my parents of my reckless and destructive habits, and they cried blue tears as they took in the news that their thought-to-be perfect daughter was high on dopamine and serotonin some days, but drowning without them the others. I took all the medications they prescribed me and went to every weekly therapy appointment, but my chest felt empty, just a shattered mess of broken ribs and Seroquel. Sure, I was smiling, but you could see my hands shaking when I reached for something. You could tell that there was something more going on. You could see that something was still broken inside. His crime was eventually revealed, but I was still unable to shake the whispers of my past, what he had done and what I had failed to say. I continued to find myself lost in the darkness of 2 a.m., the time of night when demons would dance in the heads of desperate dreamers, trapped in a gray haze of trazodone and Xanax, as my head filled with the unshakable horrors of the past. The soft, black tendrils of fear and memory would creep into my mind and lock me in a starless night so dark there exists no words to describe the ebon blackness of that abyss. I've since learned that there is no remedy for memory, but time can heal the pain his hands have caused, and medication can keep me floating in a safe gray space. I was glad I was no longer freely coasting between white and blue, but with the black wisps of PTSD filling my head. But I felt crazier with the diagnoses than I had without them. Now that my brief bits of insanity had labels, I couldn't fool myself and others into believing that I was still the perfect porcelain girl I had been just a year before. And I feel translucent red hatred rise up inside me at the thought of my faulty neurotransmitters and the ever-present memory I just can't seem to shake. I know it's useless to curse fate, but when people stare at me with sapphire eyes full of pity when I'm having a dark blue breakdown, or when the pure whiteness has flown me so high I can't come down, or when all the blackness lets me hear his voice, it's all I can do. I find solace in writing and comfort in words, so it was no surprise when my harbored secret found itself written across white pages in blue and black ink. But I was caught off guard when I read the lonely words from the trusted paper to my unsuspecting English class, bringing diamond tears to my eyes, and the response was so positive, I don't think I've ever been hugged so much in one day. And yet, I still can't find the bright courage to tell those I love most. I think it's harder to confide in the people closest to you, and I want nothing more than to tell my best friend how I see only in white, blue, and black, but the pale green hints of fear whisper in my ears that she, and all her vibrant colors, would never understand. Some days, it traps me in a gold crystalline tower of isolation, but lately, my eyes hold galaxies behind them with fading tints of purple, pink, and silver instead of black and blue ghosts. I believe that as time goes on and I come to better terms with my bipolar disorder and PTSD, I can experience new colors, like the pink blossoms of love, the vibrant greens of courage, and the bursting yellow rays of hope. It's taken a while, but I finally learned who I am. I am not diagnostic codes 296.89 and 309.81. I am Carmine Gothard, poet, adventurer, musician, artist. I'm me, and that might just be all the color that I need.